You may remember a few weeks ago I did an unboxing and gave you my first impressions of the ESKUTE Wayfarer E-bike. You may also remember that I left that video on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So grab your popcorn and let's get started with part 2 of the e-bike saga. Hello everybody, my name is Robert and this is ESKUTE. Before we get into this video though, if you're interested in seeing part 1, then I highly recommend that you watch it before you watch this one. It will be up in the cards or in the description down below. Go watch it and come back here. I'll wait. Alright, you're back. Great. So you'll remember we had that broken crank and pedal and I was awaiting that spare part. Well, 3 weeks on, I still don't have that spare part from ESKUTE, but there have been some advancements in this story, so let's start talking about it. Let's firstly address why it happened. And I'm going to hold my hands up here and be honest with you guys, it was my fault. While setting up this bike, I admittedly have never done DIY before and never built a bike before. When attaching that left side pedal to the crank, I actually didn't check to see if I was cross-threading, and I was. So while riding on the bike, I was putting a lot of pressure on that cross-threaded pedal, and it just ended up ripping the whole crank. And yeah, so your bike shouldn't do this. It was completely my error at this point, but I hold my hands up and admit it, and ESKUTE have tried to help me all that they can. So 3 weeks later, did I actually get the bike fixed? Well, yes, sort of. I took it down to my local bike store and we managed to find a replacement crank. Thankfully, every part of this ESKUTE bike is pretty standard and you can find the correct parts. What I couldn't find, however, was a colour matched piece. So I've got one silver crank on the left and the black crank on the right. This of course doesn't affect performance at all, it's just a small aesthetic thing. And for £18 it really wasn't a bad purchase to get that new crank attached. While we're on the subject of performance, let's talk a little bit more about it. That 250 watt Bafang motor on the bike, with its 5 levels of pedal assist, mean that it can go up even the toughest of hills. I live in quite a hilly area, and normally while cycling up a hill, I'll find myself just having to get off and walk halfway. But that simply wasn't the case here. Sticking the bike in a lower gear and on a moderate pedal assist level had me cruising up that hill at 15 to 20 kilometers an hour. That is pretty impressive, and to be honest with you, I wasn't breaking a sweat a lot of the time. Even without the pedal assist on more flat terrain, the bike is an absolute joy to ride. That front suspension helps to soak up even the biggest potholes, and in my area there are a lot of them. Overall, I think this bike is excellent value for money for under £1,000. It looks great, it rides well, but most of all, it is fun to ride. I find myself wanting to get out and ride this bike. So some people in the comment section of my previous video were asking if this bike came with a throttle, and I'm pleased to announce that yes, it does. Though that's not something that I plan to use on the bike, because at the moment on UK roads it is illegal to have an e-bike with a throttle. Basically what the throttle is going to be doing is taking away that pedal assist, and instead you can go fully electric by just turning that throttle. You'll get quite a nice lot of power out of it, but again, use it at your own discretion. It's there and is easily fittable, but for me, it's not my thing. Now is a great time for me to say that if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then 1, lucky you, and 2, go down there, hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification icon, maybe even leave a like if you're enjoying the video, because that really does mean the world to me. In terms of battery life, ESKUTE state that it can do over 100 kilometers on a single charge. Right now, I'm sat at around 40 kilometers on rather hilly terrain, and the battery's still showing about 70% left. So I think for an everyday commuter, you could charge this bike maybe once a week and still have some juice left over. Personally, I think that's pretty cool. When it comes to charging the battery, I do suggest taking it out of the bike altogether. You have a little key and you can just pull it straight out. And then you're going to be charging it overnight, because this takes about 16 hours to charge. That is because of the sheer size of this battery, coming in at 460 watt hours. Overall, I think e-bikes in general are an amazing thing. They're great for both commuters and for the more recreational rider. taking a lot of the strain out of some of the heavier parts of a ride so you can get back to enjoying it even more. Keep in mind while travelling with this bike though, that it is 27 kilos when you have that battery attached as well. It's not a light bike, so you probably won't want to be walking down flights of stairs with this thing at a train station, for instance. Do keep that in mind when you are planning a route, that it's heavy, you probably don't want to be carrying this for too long. Personally though, I think that weight is a small price to pay for its power and its looks. The information displayed on the LCD display is pretty cool too. It shows me the speed, the pedal assist level, and it should show you battery life, but that's something that I personally can't see. Though it doesn't matter to me too much, purely because I can just check the battery life on the battery itself by holding down the button. So let's get on to the big burning question here. Should you buy this bike or any bike from ESKUTE for that fact? And I think that's a tricky one. Personally, I think the bike itself is absolutely wonderful. Other than the one issue I had with that crank, which was my fault anyway, I really haven't had any issues with the bike, and I've enjoyed every second I've used it. I highly advise anyone who's looking to purchase a new bike to think of an e-bike as a solution, because they are getting cheaper and cheaper and much more effective in their power. Though I think it is worth noting that with my experience and the experience of others that I've seen, ESKUTE are a great company for creating these bikes, though their customer service could do a lot better. If your bike happens to have no issues whatsoever, you will have an absolute whale of a time with this bike. You will enjoy every second of it and it will be worth every penny. But if you do find that you're having issues with the bike, be that finding an answer to your question or maybe even getting a replacement part, you will find that you may not get a straight answer and it will take longer than you would like or expect to be able to get these parts in. Should this be a reason to not buy from this company? Well, I mean, I'll leave that up to you, it is your decision, but it's certainly something to keep in mind. This bike can be bought through Amazon as well, and with Amazon you at least get a little bit more buyer's protection. So I would suggest if you do want to go for this bike, buy it through Amazon, and then if there are any issues, you can initiate that return through Amazon it's themselves, rather than going through ESKUTE. As always, my affiliate link will be in the description down below if you want to purchase this bike or basically anything on Amazon. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but I get a little bit of a kickback and that's always appreciated. I'm still awaiting this replacement part from ESKUTE and plan to do a part 3 when it actually arrives, just the fitting and giving you a look of how this bike actually looks now we have all of the correct parts. Anyway guys, if I missed anything in this review or you simply have any questions about e-bikes or this bike in general, let me know in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit that bell and all of that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios. If you made it this far, why not watch more Review Clue content by clicking one of the 2 videos on your screen right now. Go on, you know you want to. It's a really good video, the one on the left, but so is the one on the right. Which one are you going to choose? Let me know.